The massive alien ship hung in space like a dark metal mountain. Its hull stretched for miles, covered in weapons that could destroy planets. Inside the command center, Commander Zexthol stood before a wall of screens, showing the small blue world ahead. His 6 arms moved across control panels as his red eyes focused on the target. Earth looked so peaceful from this distance. White clouds swirled over green and brown continents. The third planet from the yellow star seemed quiet and harmless. Zexthol knew better. The humans living on that world had caused nothing but trouble since first contact 50 years ago. "Send the message," Zexthol ordered. His voice was cold and sharp. The communication officer, a thin alien with purple skin, pressed several buttons. A holographic image appeared in the center of the room. Far away on Titan Station, Admiral Jake Morrison sat in his command chair watching the incoming transmission. The orbital defense platform floated high above Earth, its metal corridors filled with human soldiers and officers. Morrison was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had fought in 3 wars and seen too much death. Lieutenant Katie Walsh stood beside him, her fingers dancing over her control panel. She was young with short brown hair and quick hands. Her job was to track enemy ships and plan battle tactics. Today she watched the alien fleet gathering at the edge of their solar system. The hologram flickered and Zexthol's image appeared on their screens. His alien face was hard to read, but his message was clear. "Humans of Earth, you have ignored the laws of the galactic hegemony for too long. Your ships attack our traders, your colonies spread without permission, your people refuse to follow our rules." Morrison leaned forward in his chair. He had expected this day would come. The aliens had been getting angrier for years. They did not like how humans acted. They wanted all species to obey their commands. "You have 72 hours, Zexthol continued. "Surrender all your military ships. Give up your weapons. Accept our control over your world. If you refuse, we will destroy every human in the galaxy." The transmission ended. The command center fell silent. Morrison looked around at his officers. He could see fear in some faces, anger in others. Katie Walsh was already working on her computer, counting. "Enemy ships, how many do they have?" Morrison asked. "Over 3,000 ships, sir," Katie replied. "Battleships, destroyers, planet crackers. They brought everything." Morrison nodded slowly. 3,000 ships against humanity's few hundred vessels. The aliens thought this would be easy. They believed humans were weak and stupid. They had no idea what they were about to face. "Get me Dr. Carter," Morrison ordered. A few minutes later, Dr. Alex Carter appeared on the main screen. He was a thin man with messy black hair and thick glasses. His laboratory was deep underground on Earth, hidden beneath layers of rock and metal. For 20 years, he had worked on humanity's most secret project. "You saw the message?" Morrison asked. "Yes," Carter replied. "Are we activating Protocol 7? Morrison was quiet for a moment. Protocol 7 was humanity's last hope. It was also their most dangerous weapon. Once activated, there would be no going back. The galaxy would never be the same. "Not yet," Morrison said. "But get everything ready. If they want a war, we will give them one they will never forget." Meanwhile, on the alien flagship, Zexthol studied reports about human military strength. The data showed 400 ships, basic fusion weapons, and primitive armor. The humans had no psychic abilities like the Velthari. They lacked the advanced technology of the Axiom Collective. They were just young animals from a backwater planet. "This will be over quickly," said Fleet Admiral Cornash, the overall commander of the alien forces. He was even larger than Zexthol, with thick armor covering his body. "Humans are soft. They will surrender when they see our power." But Cornash was wrong about humans being soft. He had never visited Earth. He did not know about the ice ages that nearly killed all life on the planet. He had never heard of the supervolcano eruptions that blocked out the sun for years. He knew nothing about the asteroid impacts that destroyed the dinosaurs. The aliens came from garden worlds. Their planets were safe and peaceful. Food grew easily. The weather was always nice. Dangerous animals were rare. Their species had evolved in comfort and safety. Earth was different. Earth was a death world. For millions of years, Earth had tried to kill everything living on it. Ice covered the continents. Volcanoes poisoned the air. Diseases wiped out entire species. Only the strongest and smartest creatures survived. Humans were the children of that death world. Every challenge had made them stronger. Every disaster had taught them to adapt. Every near extinction had forced them to become more clever and more determined. Dr. Carter knew this truth. As he prepared Protocol 7 for activation, he thought about what made humans special. They were not the strongest species in the galaxy. They were not the smartest or the most advanced, but they were survivors. Activate the first-level systems, Carter told his team. Around him, scientists and engineers began their work. They had spent decades preparing for this moment. Deep beneath Earth's surface, hidden factories began to wake up. Secret weapon systems came online. Soldiers who had trained their entire lives got ready for the fight of their existence. Admiral Morrison walked to the window of his command center. Far below, Earth turned slowly in space. It looked beautiful and fragile. But Morrison knew better. That small blue world had created the most dangerous predators in the galaxy. Now those predators were about to show the universe what happened when you threatened their home. The countdown had begun. In 72 hours, the aliens would learn why you should never corner a death world's children. The alien armada moved through space like a metal storm. 3,000 ships of different sizes and shapes filled the darkness between stars. The largest vessels were the size of cities, bristling with weapons that could crack planets in half. Smaller ships darted between them like deadly fish in a vast ocean. Fleet Admiral Cornash stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the human solar system grow larger on his screens. His massive form was covered in thick battle armor that had protected him through a dozen wars. But those wars had been against other civilized species who followed the rules of galactic warfare. This would be different. Report on human defenses, Cornash commanded. 400 ships detected, replied his intelligence officer. Primitive fusion drives and basic energy weapons. Their largest vessels are smaller than our destroyers. We estimate complete victory within 6 hours. Cornash nodded. 6 hours. Seemed too long. These humans were young and foolish. They had only been in space for a few decades. Their technology was crude and simple. This would be more like pest control than actual warfare. Captain Lisa Hayes watched the alien fleet approach from the bridge of her dreadnought, Terra's Wrath. The human ship looked rough and ugly compared to the smooth alien vessels. Its hull was thick and covered with armor plating. Every surface was designed for one purpose: to keep fighting no matter what happened. Enemy fleet will reach engagement range in 30 minutes, reported Commander Ben Parker, her tactical officer. He was a young man with steady hands and quick reflexes. Like most humans, he had been trained to fight since childhood. Signal all ships, Lisa ordered. Battle Formation Alpha. Let them come to us. What the aliens could not see were the hidden defense platforms scattered throughout the solar system. For 50 years, humans had been building secret bases on asteroids, moons, and space stations. Each one was disguised to look like mining equipment or research facilities. Chief Engineer Ryan Torres worked deep inside Terra's Wrath, checking the ship's most important systems. The fusion reactor hummed with barely controlled power. The weapons were loaded and ready. But the ship's real strength was not its guns or armor. It was its crew. Every human on the ship had grown up on Earth. They had breathed poisonous air in industrial cities. They had survived natural disasters that would kill most aliens instantly. Their bodies were tough and their minds were harder. They did not know the meaning of surrender. On Luna Base, Dr. Sophie Grant studied the alien communications. Her computers worked day and night to decode enemy messages and battle plans. What she discovered made her both excited and afraid. The aliens have never fought a Death World species, she told her research team. Look at their psychological profiles. They evolved on planets where the biggest danger was running out of fruit. They have no concept of total warfare. Dr. Grant was right. The Kethvar came from a world of eternal spring. The Velthari had evolved on a planet where violent storms happened only once every 1,000 years. The Axiom Collective had built machines to control their weather and eliminate all dangerous animals. None of them understood what it meant to fight for survival every single day. Colonel Mike Anderson prepared his troops for ground combat on Earth's surface. His Ghost Battalion was made up of soldiers who could survive in any environment. They had trained in deserts where the temperature reached 60 degrees Celsius. They had fought in frozen wastelands where the air itself could freeze solid. Lieutenant Sarah Kim checked her weapons one final time. Her rifle was designed to work in vacuum, underwater, or in poisonous atmosphere. Her armor could protect her from radiation that would kill most alien species in minutes. But her deadliest weapon was her mind, trained from birth to never give up. Remember, Colonel Anderson told his troops, these aliens think we are weak because we come from only one planet. They do not understand that our one planet tried to kill us every day for millions of years. We are not weak. We are the survivors of the ultimate test. The first alien scouts entered the outer solar system. They expected to find a few patrol ships and some basic defenses. Instead, they discovered something impossible. Admiral, reported the scout ship commander, we are detecting massive energy signatures throughout the system. The humans have been hiding their true strength. On Pluto's largest moon, a disguised defense platform revealed itself. What had looked like a simple research station unfolded into a weapons array the size of a small city. Similar platforms activated on asteroids, space stations, and hidden bases throughout the solar system. The alien fleet suddenly found themselves facing not 400 human ships, but over 4,000 defense platforms and hidden vessels. The humans had been lying about their military strength for decades. Impossible, breathed Fleet Admiral Cornash. Our intelligence said they were primitives. Captain Tony Rodriguez smiled grimly from the bridge of his stealth destroyer, Night Hunter. His ship had been hiding in the shadow of Jupiter for 3 days, waiting for this moment. Around him, his crew prepared for battle with the calm efficiency of predators. Navigator Amy Chen, he ordered, set course for the alien command ship. Let's show them what a Deathworld species can do. The Night Hunter was invisible to alien sensors. Its hull was made from materials that absorbed energy rather than reflecting it. The technology looked primitive to alien eyes, but it worked, better than their advanced systems. Lieutenant Amy Chen plotted their attack course with deadly precision. She had studied alien ship designs for years, looking for weaknesses. Every species in the galaxy built their vessels the same way. Beautiful, efficient, and fragile. Human ships were different. They were built to take damage and keep fighting. The Velthari tried to use their psychic abilities to probe human minds. What they found terrified them. Human thoughts were not like the peaceful mental patterns of other species. They were sharp, aggressive, and completely focused on survival and victory. Their minds burn like fire, reported the Velthari commander to Admiral Cornash. We cannot break their will. If anything, our mental attacks make them stronger. This was because human minds had been forged by millions of years of stress and danger. Every human carried the genetic memory of ice ages, plagues, and disasters. Their brains were wired to fight harder when threatened. General Patricia Stone coordinated Earth's ground defenses from her command bunker deep beneath Mount Washington. Her aide, Major Chris Thompson, activated manufacturing facilities that had been hidden for decades. Within hours, these factories would be producing weapons designed specifically to kill each type of alien. The Kethvar cannot survive in low-oxygen environments, Major Thompson reported. The Velthari are vulnerable to sonic weapons. The Axiom Collective relies too heavily on their technology. Good, General Stone replied. Prepare countermeasures for each species. When they land on our world, they will discover why Earth is called a death world. As the alien fleet moved deeper into the solar system, Admiral Cornash began to understand his mistake. The humans were not primitive savages. They were survivors of the most dangerous planet in the galaxy. Every challenge had made them stronger. Every disaster had taught them new ways to fight and win. But it was too late to retreat now. The galactic hegemony had made their ultimatum. The battle for humanity's future was about to begin. The space battle erupted across the solar system like a deadly fireworks display. Alien ships fired their advanced weapons, expecting quick victory. Instead, they met walls of defensive fire from hidden human platforms. Explosions lit up the darkness as both sides took casualties. Admiral Morrison watched the battle reports flood his screens on Titan Station. The aliens were stronger than expected, but so were the humans. Hidden defense systems that had been secret for decades now revealed themselves one by one. "Sir," Lieutenant Katie Walsh called out, "we are holding them, but they have superior numbers. We need to activate Protocol 7 or we will lose." Morrison nodded grimly. He opened a secure communication channel to the most protected bunker on Earth. Deep beneath Mount Washington, President Helen Brooks waited for his call. She was an older woman with steel-gray hair and eyes that had seen too many wars. "Madam President," Morrison said, requesting authorization for Protocol 7 activation. "Granted," President Brooks replied without hesitation. "God help us all." Morrison turned to his communication officer. "Send the activation code to Dr. Carter immediately." Far below on Earth's surface, Dr. Alex Carter received the message he had both hoped for and dreaded. Protocol 7 was humanity's greatest secret and their most dangerous gamble. For 20 years, his team had prepared for this moment. "Begin activation sequence," Carter ordered his staff. Around him, scientists and engineers rushed to their stations. Deep underground, massive computers began to wake up. Hidden systems that had waited decades for this moment came online. The first surprise came within minutes. Across Earth, every human citizen received a message on their personal communication devices. The message was simple. "Protocol 7 is active. Follow your training." What the aliens did not know was that every human had been secretly prepared for this day. When children went to school, they learned more than just reading and math. They learned survival skills, basic combat, and how to work together in crisis situations. When adults went for medical checkups, they received small nanobiological improvements that helped their bodies handle stress and damage. Captain Tony Rodriguez led the first human counterattack from his stealth ship, Night Hunter. His navigator, Lieutenant Amy Chen, had found a weakness in the alien formation. Their ships were spread too thin, trying to attack everything at once. "Target the command vessel," Rodriguez ordered. "One clean strike to cut off their communications." The Night Hunter moved through space like a deadly shadow. Its weapons were not the most powerful in the human fleet, but they were designed differently than alien technology. Where alien weapons were precise and efficient, human weapons were brutal and reliable. Their first torpedo struck the alien flagship's communication array. The explosion was not large, but it cut off Admiral Cornash from half his fleet. The aliens had built their ships to be beautiful and advanced. Humans had built their ships to keep fighting even when badly damaged. On Earth, resistance networks activated across every continent. General Patricia Stone coordinated the global response from her command center. Her aide, Major Chris Thompson, watched as hidden factories began producing weapons at incredible speed. "Manufacturing output is at 300% of normal capacity," Thompson reported. "The nanobiological enhancements are working better than expected." The nanobiological improvements were Protocol 7's first major secret. Every human carried microscopic machines in their bloodstream that helped them survive in dangerous conditions. These machines could process toxins, repair tissue damage, and boost physical performance when needed. To alien eyes, humans suddenly seemed to become superhuman. Factory workers could labor for days without rest. Soldiers could fight in environments that should have killed them. Pilots could withstand forces that would crush most alien species. Captain Danny Foster prepared his Marine boarding teams for the most dangerous part of the mission. Human doctrine called for taking enemy ships intact when possible. This meant sending soldiers through space to break into alien vessels and fight the crews hand to hand. "Remember," Foster told his Marines, "these aliens evolved on safe worlds. They have never faced real predators. We are about to show them what Earth creates." Sergeant Kelly Brooks checked her space combat gear one final time. Her armor was designed to work in vacuum, and her weapons could function in any environment. More importantly, her mind was trained to stay calm and focused no matter what happened. The first boarding action took place on a Kethvar destroyer, The aliens watched in horror as human Marines cut through their hull with tools that seemed primitive but worked perfectly. When the humans entered their ship, the HFY discovered something terrifying. Humans could fight in conditions that were impossible for most species. The boarding party moved through sections of the ship that had lost atmosphere, fighting aliens who needed environmental suits to survive. The HFY were stronger individually, but humans were more adaptable and worked together better. Engineer Chief Rachel Davis led her team aboard the captured alien vessel. While the Marines fought the crew, her job was to figure out how alien technology worked. What she discovered amazed even her. Their systems are incredibly advanced, she reported to Captain Foster, but they are also fragile. Everything is designed to work perfectly in ideal conditions. There are no backup systems for emergencies. This was the difference between Death World engineering and Garden World engineering. Alien technology was elegant and efficient. Human technology was tough and reliable. When things went wrong, human systems kept working while alien systems failed. The aliens began to realize they were not fighting the primitive species they had expected. Human ships used tactics that seemed impossible. Human soldiers fought in conditions that should have killed them. Human technology looked crude, but outperformed their advanced systems in actual combat. Dr. Sophie Grant monitored alien communications from Luna Base. What she heard made her smile for the first time in days. They are starting to panic, she told her team. Their commanders are asking for reinforcements. They cannot understand how we are matching their superior numbers and technology. The Velthari made their first major mistake when they tried to use psychic warfare against human ground troops. Their mental attacks were designed to break the will of peaceful species. Instead, they encountered minds that had been shaped by millions of years of surviving on a death world. Dr. Laura Mitchell had prepared for this possibility. Her counter-psychic defense network activated across Earth, but it was not really needed. Human minds were naturally resistant to alien mental influence. Every human carried the genetic memory of surviving ice ages, plagues, and disasters. Their thoughts were too strong and focused to be easily broken. The psychic attacks are actually making our people fight harder, Dr. Mitchell reported. Human brains interpret the mental assault as just another threat to overcome. As the battle continued, more levels of Protocol 7 began to reveal themselves. Hidden manufacturing facilities produced new weapons at incredible speed. Civilian populations transformed into organized resistance networks. Advanced technology that had been kept secret for decades came online. Captain Lisa Hayes commanded the dreadnought, Terra's Wrath, as it engaged 3 alien battleships at once. Her ship was smaller and supposedly less advanced, but it had something the alien vessels lacked. It was designed by a species that understood how to survive when everything went wrong. Hull breach on Deck 7, reported Commander Ben Parker. Engineering teams are already sealing it. Weapons Array 2 is offline, called out another officer. Switch to Array 3 and keep firing, Hayes ordered calmly. This was what made human warships different. They were built with the assumption that everything would be damaged in battle. Every system had backups. Every section could be sealed, off if needed. The ship could lose half its parts and still keep fighting. The aliens watched in growing fear as human vessels that should have been destroyed continued to fight. Human soldiers who should have been killed kept attacking. Civilians who should have been helpless became dangerous opponents. Fleet Admiral Cornash realized he had made a terrible mistake. These humans were not weak primitives. They were the survivors of the most dangerous world in the galaxy. Every challenge had made them stronger. Every disaster had taught them new ways to fight and win. But the worst was yet to come. Protocol 7 had more levels to reveal, and each one would show the aliens exactly why Deathworld species should never be underestimated. Protocol 7 entered its second phase as humanity showed the galaxy what happened when Deathworld predators were pushed too far. The space battle had been just the beginning. Now the real war would start. Captain Danny Foster's Marine Battalion moved through the corridors of captured alien ships like hunting wolves. His soldiers wore armor designed to function in any environment, from the frozen vacuum of space to the poisonous atmospheres of hostile worlds. The aliens had never faced anything like them. Sergeant Kelly Brooks led her squad through a Kethvar battleship, hunting the remaining crew. The alien corridors were wide and bright, designed for a species that had never known real danger. Kethvar had evolved on a peaceful world where the biggest threat was seasonal storms. "Movement ahead," whispered Private Jake Sullivan, the squad's scout. He could see in near-total darkness another advantage of growing up on Earth. The Kethvar needed bright lights to navigate their own ships. The squad moved forward with deadly silence. Each Marine had trained for years in environments that would kill most aliens instantly. They had practiced combat in underwater cities, poison gas-filled factories, and radiation zones that glowed green with death. When they found the alien crew barricaded in the ship's command center, the Kethvar made their fatal mistake. They tried to use their superior size and strength in direct combat. What they discovered was that humans were not just tough, they were smart. "Breach charges ready," Brooks ordered. Her team did not try to fight the aliens fairly. Instead, they used tactics learned from millions of years of hunting much larger and stronger prey on Earth. The explosion blew open the command center doors. Smoke and debris filled the air. In the confusion, the human Marines struck like lightning. They used the Kethvar's own size against them, attacking joints and weak spots with precision that came from studying alien anatomy for decades. Within minutes, the battleship was under human control. The surviving aliens stared in shock at soldiers who seemed impossible. How could such small creatures defeat warriors twice their size? Engineer Chief Rachel Davis provided the answer, as her teams began studying captured alien technology. Working alongside her were specialists like Lieutenant Mark Chen and Sergeant Patricia Williams. Together, they discovered the truth about alien engineering. "Everything they build is perfect for ideal conditions," Davis reported to Admiral Morrison. "Their ships work flawlessly in controlled environments. But add some chaos, some damage, some unexpected problems, and their systems fall apart." This was the fundamental difference between Deathworld engineering and Garden World engineering. Alien technology was like a beautiful flower, impressive but fragile. Human technology was like a weed, ugly but nearly impossible to kill. Davis and her team began the most important work of the war, turning alien weapons against their creators. They modified captured energy cannons to work with human power systems. They reprogrammed alien computers to follow human commands. They took elegant alien designs and made them tough enough to survive real combat. "Their plasma weapons are incredibly powerful," reported Lieutenant Chen, "but they need perfect conditions to function. Add some interference, some heat, some vibration, and they stop working. So we make them work our way," Davis replied. "Strip out the fancy parts and build them like human weapons, tough, reliable, and deadly." The psychological impact of this was devastating for the aliens. They watched human engineers take their most advanced technology and improve it by making it simpler and more robust. It was like watching barbarians upgrade a masterpiece by hitting it with hammers. Ground Commander Lucas Wright demonstrated humanity's true strength as alien forces attempted to land on Earth itself. His troops were spread across 6 continents, but they fought as one unified force. This was possible because every human had been trained from childhood to work together in crisis situations. Major Stephanie Adams coordinated the defense of North America from her command post in the Rocky Mountains. Around her, human cities transformed into fortresses, designed by a species that had been fighting wars for thousands of years. "Enemy dropships approaching New York," reported her communications. "Officer, activate urban defense protocol," Adams ordered. "Show them what human cities are really designed for." What the aliens discovered was that human settlements were not just places to live. They were weapons of war. Every building could become a bunker. Every street could become a killing ground. Every citizen was a potential soldier. The Axiom Collective had studied human cities from orbit and concluded they were chaotic and inefficient. They were right about the chaos, but wrong about everything else. Human cities were designed by survivors who knew that conflict was inevitable. When alien drop troops landed in downtown New York, they found themselves in a maze of steel and concrete that seemed to fight back. Human defenders appeared from sewers, rooftops, and subway tunnels. The aliens had superior individual weapons, but humans controlled the battlefield. Civilian leader Jennifer Martinez organized the resistance in her neighborhood with the calm efficiency of someone whose ancestors had survived ice ages and plague outbreaks. Her team included teachers, factory workers, and shop owners, all of whom had received basic military training as children. "Remember," she told her people, "we know these streets. We know these buildings. The aliens are visitors here. This is our world." The aliens quickly learned that fighting humans on Earth was like fighting the planet itself. The air was thicker than most species could handle comfortably. The gravity was higher than their homeworlds. The radiation from the sun was more intense than they were used to. But for humans, these conditions were normal. They had evolved in Earth's harsh environment. What was deadly for aliens was just another day for the children of the Death World. Dr. Sophie Grant monitored the battle from her command center on Luna Base. Her analysis of alien communications revealed growing panic among enemy forces. "They are requesting immediate evacuation from Earth's surface," she reported. "Their troops are suffering massive casualties from environmental exposure alone, before they even encounter our forces." The Velthari made their second major psychic assault, focusing their entire mental warfare division on breaking human morale. What happened next would be studied by xenopsychologists for centuries. Dr. Laura Mitchell watched her monitoring equipment register the alien attack. Psychic energy equivalent to a mental nuclear weapon struck the human population of Earth. The aliens expected mass panic, surrender, and psychological collapse. Instead, human resistance actually increased. "Impossible," breathed the Velthari commander as his reports came in. "No species should be able to resist that level of psychic assault." Dr. Mitchell understood what was happening. Human minds had been shaped by millions of years of surviving trauma and disaster. Every human carried genetic memories of ice ages that lasted thousands of years, volcanic eruptions that blocked out the sun, and asteroid impacts that killed most life on Earth. Compared to those ancestral memories, alien psychic attacks were just another problem to overcome. Human brains did not break under mental pressure. They adapted and fought harder. "The psychic attacks are triggering our survival instincts," Dr. Mitchell explained to her team. "Every human on Earth now sees the aliens as an extinction-level threat. That means they will fight with everything they have and never give up." Fleet Admiral Cornash watched his carefully planned invasion turn into a disaster. His superior technology was failing against human adaptability. His larger numbers meant nothing when humans could fight in conditions that killed his troops. His advanced tactics were useless against an enemy that seemed to turn every disadvantage into a strength. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "They are primitives from a single backward world." His intelligence officer, trembling with fear, provided the answer that would haunt the galactic hegemony forever. "Sir, Earth is not a backward world. It is a death world, the most dangerous planet we have ever encountered, and we just declared war on its children." The alien fleet began its retreat as Protocol 7 revealed its final and most terrifying phase. What had started as an invasion of a primitive world had become a nightmare that would change the galaxy forever. Admiral Morrison stood before the main communication array on Titan Station, preparing to address the Galactic Council directly. Beside him, President Helen Brooks reviewed the terms of humanity's counter-ultimatum. Dr. Alex Carter monitored the final activation sequences of systems that had been hidden for decades. "Open the channel," Morrison ordered. Across the galaxy, the leaders of the galactic hegemony watched their screens as a human face appeared before them. Morrison looked tired but unbroken. His uniform was torn and stained with battle, but his eyes burned with the fire of a species that had never learned to surrender. "Members of the Galactic Council," Morrison began, "you offered us a choice between submission and destruction. We choose neither. Instead, we offer you a choice. Accept humanity as equals in the galaxy, or face the consequences of threatening a death world species." The alien leaders looked at each other in confusion. How could these primitives threaten the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy? They still controlled thousands of ships and could destroy planets with their advanced weapons. Morrison continued, speaking as if he could read their thoughts. "You believe you are safe in your distant star systems. You think your advanced technology protects you. You are wrong. Behind him, the tactical display showed something that made the alien leaders' blood turn cold. Human ships were leaving the solar system, not fleeing in defeat but spreading out in all directions toward alien homeworlds. Captain Emma Sullivan led the human deep strike fleet beyond the outer planets aboard her flagship, Earth's Vengeance. Her crew included weapons officer Lieutenant Peter Davis and communications specialist Commander Jennifer Wright. Together, they carried weapons that would demonstrate humanity's true technological capabilities. All ships report ready for phase transition, reported Lieutenant Davis. His voice was calm and professional, but his eyes showed the deadly focus of a predator about to strike. The Deep Strike Fleet activated technology that the aliens thought was impossible for humans to possess. One moment the ships were visible on long-range scanners near Jupiter. The next moment they had vanished completely, moving through space in ways that defied alien understanding. Dr. Sophie Grant had spent years studying captured alien artifacts, reverse engineering technology that the Galactic Council believed was too advanced for primitive minds. What she discovered was that alien engineering was impressive but predictable. They built things the same way every time, following patterns that never changed. Human engineering was different. Humans had learned to adapt, to improvise, to make things work even when they should not. Given enough time and motivation, human engineers could take apart anything and rebuild it to work better. Dark matter propulsion systems are online, Dr. Grant reported from her laboratory. Navigation computers have confirmed targets in all alien home systems. The Galactic Council watched in growing horror as human vessels appeared in their most secure star systems. Ships that had been primitive fusion-powered craft just hours ago were now using technology equal to their most advanced designs. But the technology was not the most frightening part. It was how the humans used it. Captain Jennifer Wright opened communication channels with the alien home worlds, her message broadcast to every planet in the hegemony. Her voice was clear and cold as winter death. Citizens of the galaxy, your leaders threatened to exterminate humanity. They called us primitives and savages. They tried to destroy our world and our people. Now you will learn what happens when you threaten the children of Earth. The first demonstration took place in the HFY home system. A single human ship appeared near their capital world, moving with impossible speed and precision. The HFY defense fleet moved to intercept, confident in their superior numbers and firepower. They discovered that human weapons were designed differently than anything they had encountered. Where alien weapons were precise and efficient, human weapons were designed to cause maximum psychological impact. The human ship did not try to destroy the HFY fleet. Instead, it disabled every vessel without killing a single crew member. "This is Commander Sarah Peterson of the Earth Defense Force," the human captain announced. "Your ships are disabled, but your crews are alive. This is your warning. Recall your invasion fleet, or we will demonstrate what human weapons can do when we stop being merciful." The demonstration was terrifying in its restraint. The humans could have destroyed the entire HFY fleet in minutes, but they chose to show mercy instead. This was somehow more frightening than raw destruction would have been. On Earth, Colonel Mike Anderson led his troops in the final cleanup operations against remaining alien forces. The invasion had collapsed completely. Alien soldiers surrendered in groups, begging for protection from the Deathworld environment that was slowly killing them. Lieutenant Sarah Kim coordinated prisoner processing with the efficiency of someone whose species had been taking prisoners in warfare for thousands of years. The aliens were treated according to human military law, which was harsh but fair. "Why do you not kill us?" asked a captured HFY officer. "We came to destroy your world." "Because," Sarah replied, "we are not savages. We fight when we must, but we do not kill when it is not necessary. That is the difference between Deathworld species and Garden World species. We understand the value of life because we have fought so hard to preserve it." Dr. Laura Mitchell's analysis of the alien prisoners revealed the fundamental truth that would reshape galactic politics. The species of the hegemony were not evil. They were simply inexperienced with real conflict. They had lived in peace for so long that they had forgotten what war actually meant. "They fight like children playing games," she reported. "They expect Rules and fairness and mercy. They cannot comprehend total warfare because their worlds never taught them to fight for survival. Meanwhile, the human Deep Strike fleet continued its demonstration across the galaxy. Each alien home system received the same message. Recall your invasion forces or face the consequences. The Axiom Collective tried to resist, confident in their technological superiority. Their artificial intelligence networks calculated victory, probabilities, and concluded that human threats were meaningless. They were wrong. Captain Tony Rodriguez and his crew aboard Night Hunter infiltrated the Axiom Collective's central computer core. What they did next would be remembered as the most elegant act of technological warfare in galactic history. Their entire civilization runs on interconnected computer networks, reported Lieutenant Amy Chen. Every ship, every city, every defense system is controlled by artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence follows logical programming. Rodriguez replied with a cold smile. Amy, show them what human logic looks like. The virus they unleashed was not designed to destroy the Axiom Collective's computers. Instead, it simply asked them a question that no logical system could answer. What happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? Every artificial intelligence in the Collective's network attempted to solve this paradox. Their computers locked up, their ships stopped moving, their defense systems shut down. The most advanced technological civilization in the galaxy was paralyzed by a simple philosophical question. This is impossible, transmitted the Collective's central intelligence. No species should understand our systems well enough to create such an attack. You are right, Rodriguez replied. No logical species could do this, but humans are not logical. We are survivors. We do whatever works, whether it makes sense or not. The Velthari homeworld received a different kind of demonstration. Dr. Laura Mitchell's team had developed psychic amplification technology that turned human mental resistance into an active weapon. When the Velthari tried to use their psychic abilities against the human ship in their system, they received a feedback pulse that knocked out every psychic on their planet. Our minds are burning, screamed the Velthari commander. How can primitive minds be so strong? Because, came the human reply. Our minds were forged by millions of years of surviving on a world that tried to kill us every single day. Your mental attacks are nothing compared to what our ancestors endured. Fleet Admiral Cornash watched his mighty invasion force retreat in complete disorder. Half his ships had been captured or disabled. The other half were fleeing toward their home systems, carrying news of humanity's impossible victory. How did we lose? He asked his surviving officers. We had superior numbers, better technology, and centuries of military experience. His intelligence officer, now understanding the truth, provided the answer that would haunt his dreams forever. Sir, we were not fighting a military force. We were fighting the survivors of the most dangerous world in the galaxy. Every challenge they have faced made them stronger. Every disaster they survived taught them new ways to win. We brought war to a species that has been preparing for this moment for millions of years. Admiral Morrison's final message to the Galactic Council was simple and direct. Humanity offers peace to all species willing to treat us as equals. We offer war to any who threaten us again. Choose wisely, because you have seen what happens when you underestimate Deathworld.